What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of SAKURA, the most useless talk show about anime and gaming. And today, we have a very special guest. Along with me and NoGoodTsunax, we have Miss Valerie Rose Lohman, aka Michelle Light, aka Rachel. How you doing today?
Oh my
I'm
God.
doing great. I'm very excited to be here.
So how does it feel like when you're like obviously you said you've watched 4 episodes, so you
Mhm.
record these, you go back and then you listen to yourself and like how does that feel? How do you know like do you pay attention to did I word this wrong? Does it match the facial expressions of the character?
Um,
How does it feel like voice act the character and then go back and then you watch what it is that you voice recorded and it's like, oh, okay, uh, I like the way this sounded or stuff like that.
what's really nice is we had a really great creative team. Like our director, she knew the world really well, and she was really the guide in making sure everything was seamless and worked really well between character to character. So, I mean, I think the coolest part is not necessarily like self-critiquing when you watch it back, but it's like seeing how every other character that you're interacting with is creating the world, and you're a part of something. You are a small part of something so much bigger. And I think that's really cool because I mean I- our team isn't just the American voice cast. I mean, we when we're in the booth, we listen to the original Japanese, and that I always make sure to like kind of infer tone from, and then seeing all the arts, it's just really cool to see everything put together. And like I said, my thing, I always love when music is added because it just like takes me on a journey. So just seeing it put together is always really, really, really cool.
Yeah. Oh, and something I want to add as well. And like when you record these voice lines, you're not like standing next to like let's say another voice actor that has a different line. Like, are they all recorded like separately
Yeah,
or
all
like
separate. And
yeah?
we actually recorded the second half of this series while in quarantine. So I recorded up to episode, I think 7 in studio in LA, and then we had to figure out how to record the last chunk of episodes from home.
Yeah.
So that
Oh,
was
so
very interesting and very exciting. So like I'm sitting on my laptop. I have the dub, I mean the original on my laptop so that I can match my words, and I'm on call with the creative team and the engineer, and it was nuts, but cool. In my pillow fort that I is my home studio. So
I gotta ask you,
yo, okay.
what type of talent or personality do you think you need to book work in your line of work?
I think you just have to be I think people always ask me about like getting into voiceover, and I think the most important thing is to realize that like so many people can do like a funny voice. Everyone can do a silly voice or things like that, but I think the most important thing is learning how to act. I started in professional theater as a kid, and I've done a lot of film and TV. Um, and I grew up watching voiceover, so I loved it, and I kind of fell into it about 5 years ago. Um, and I think that's important, but I think more important than anything is to be like a kind person. And I know that sounds silly, but like word gets around fast. It's a small industry, and like when I refer my friends to jobs, I love working with people who are nice and love what they do and just like want to build each other up. I think that's important in like every industry. So that's my biggest. I love that about people.
What is a day in the life of a voice actor? Besides when you're outside your pillow fort.
Um, Always different. So some days, I mean, I have amazing agents who are always sending me auditions. So I from every week I get anywhere from like I've done anywhere from like 2 to 50 auditions a week. Um, and then you book some, you don't. I think this year I've probably had 500 voiceover auditions this year, and I probably booked like 10, which is not, I mean, that's like a normal rate because you just kind of audition for everything. Um, yeah, it's a lot of drinking tea. I also narrate audiobooks, so it's a lot of doing that, and I do a lot of on-camera auditions still because I still work in that. So it just kind of varies. I always feel like people think it's really exciting. It is because I think it's exciting because I love like getting in the character's head, and I feel like when I exit the booth, I've like lived a character's life. But really, I just like crawl in my booth and like yell and pretend I'm being punched or punching people and sweat a lot, and then I come out and play with my dog or like hang out. I mean, especially during quarantine, I kind of just like work and then I like come out of my booth and watch movies and like hang out with my family. So it's I love it so much, but it's not the most like I feel like to the average person they'd be like your life seems kind of like normal. And it is. It's fun. I love it. I adore it. So, yeah, I love my pillow fort world. It's fun.
So you talked about you got first of all, back to the audio book before we get into what I was gonna say. You doing Livingston Girls. You did the narration for
Yeah.
Livingston Girls. What is that about?
So, it's about a girl named Rose who 16-year-old girl, she has to go to boarding school because she had a incident with her teacher at her former high school. So she moves away from her family and everything she knows to attend this boarding school, and she's super loner. And she ends up joining a coven of witches and falling in love with one of the girls in the coven. So it's LGBTQ, just in time for Pride Month. And Brianna Morgan is the author, and she's an amazing, amazing up and coming horror writer. And it was a blast working on it because I love like spooky shit. Halloween is my favorite holiday, so
Hey,
I've loved it, and it's out now, so you can read it and or listen to me read it to you. And
Where can people get it?
Audible, it's on Audible and on iTunes. And then if you hit me up, if you go on my Instagram, there's a link in my bio for it.
What I wanted to ask before is, so you said you do like 500 auditions, or like, how do you deal with rejection?
Um, I so okay, so it kind of goes back to like the being kind thing about like the people that you work with. I'm a firm believer that you're going to get the parts that you are right for, that were made for you. And there's like nothing in the world can stand in the way. If like a part's meant for you, it's going to come to you. But also like there I have so many friends that we audition for the same parts all the time. And sometimes they get it and sometimes I get it. And it's just sometimes you just the other person fits better, and it's I don't really feel it as like a ding of, oh, you weren't good enough. I just feel like you're not right for this part. Like I just was in Smite. I did a character on the video game Smite, and I think I auditioned for Smite like 45 times or something like that before I booked the part that I booked.
You booked Artemis.
Yeah.
The,
Yeah.
yeah. I used to play a lot of Smite, but I
Awesome.
know I am thinking about coming back because they just released
Avatar.
ah, the Avatar Battle Pass,
Yeah,
Yep.
I saw that.
which I love Aang, but I'm definitely coming back for Korra.
Okay.
A lot of people hate me, but I think Korra was the best Avatar. Her story is just so much better than Aang. Well, what type of games do you play? Because I know you were in Edith Finch.
I was, and I was also in Wolfenstein.
Mm-hmm. Young Blood.
Uh, yep, yep. I am just starting to get into a little bit of gaming. My girlfriend's a big gamer, so I watch her a lot of the time. So like right now she's replaying Mafia 2 and I'm watching that. Um, I love watching the Assassin's Creed games. I've been watching Assassin's Creed Odyssey lately. And I really want to start getting into playing because I really want to play The Last of Us 1 and 2. And I know it's supposed to be like really hard to play and I'm not good, but I really want to I want to try. So, I'm getting into it. I feel like everyone asks me that and I always am like, "Ah, I'm not a gamer yet, but I want to be."
Because I know
Yeah.
you've played not just anime characters, you've played video game characters. I've even starred in certain, I want to say, movies. Is that correct, or is it a TV show? I know I saw.
I've done a couple films and a couple TV shows. Yeah.
Hmm?
And
Okay,
a lot of animation and games.
right. And to that, I say, what do you think you like doing out of all of those, and like, what character did you like playing the most? Is what I want to ask.
Um, I like them all a lot for different reasons. I don't think I would ever want to be someone who just sticks to one. Like I grew up on theater. I I I learned how to act on stage. And then I fell in love with film because I love that you're in the world. You're in costume, you're on set with these other actors, you're on location. But I love motion capture because you're like it's completely based in imagination. You're running around a big open space with a suit with dots on it and a weird camera on your head, and you're just playing with other actors, and no one's watching you. And voiceover, you just get to be so silly. I make like the stupidest faces when doing voiceover, and I enjoy it. Um, I probably had the most fun working on Wolfenstein just because I made amazing friends while I was on that. I love playing Jess. I think she's such a weirdo, and I love doing her weird Texan accent. Um, and some of my best friends I made on that set because we all did the motion capture in Sweden together. So we all flew over there and worked for weeks and then came home and kept working together, and I love it. And my director on Wolfenstein, Tom Keegan, is like I like bow down to him. He's like he's a friend of like to call him friend now. He's worked on everything. But I'm also like obsessed with his work and how he works and like how he is as a director and how he treats actors. Yeah. And Edith Finch was a blast. I didn't think it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be something really tiny, and it blew up, and it.
Love that.
Yeah, I when I signed on to Edith Finch, I thought it was gonna be like a mobile game, like something really tiny, and then it like thrust me headfirst into the world of games, and I'm so grateful. I just again, I'm a workaholic. I love working. I find it so fun.
I can see why you would like to work in each one. So safe to say that you like
Yeah.
playing the Wolfenstein character just because you made more friends in that one, which I think is also a good answer.
It's
Damn.
just it's interesting because like for most voiceover, you really don't work with other people. I've only ever done one other project where I've had like another actor in the booth with me, and it was someone playing my brother. So we were twins having to speak over each other. But other than that, I've never like had other actors to work with in the booth. Whereas on Wolfenstein, even when we were finished doing the motion capture, Shelby Young, who plays my twin sister Soph, we were in the booth together every time. We were like working off each other, and that was so cool. And she's like one of my best friends now. So, and also like everything I've worked on, I like very rarely have had to work with like not nice people. So like it's all been fun because you like meet new people every time, and like someone once said to me, like the more you work and the higher you get, the less like crummy people there are because people don't want to work with those people. And I mean, I know that's not true for everyone. Everyone has different experiences, but I have found that in my personal journey to be true. I've loved everyone I've worked with. So,
Okay, good.
been a blast.
What do you say is the difference between voice acting in video games and let's just say anime?
Um, I think it just depends on the tone all around. I think there's a lot of similarities in Tower of God and like Edith Finch, where it's real, but there's like a heightened storytelling aspect. They're both kind of magical and mystical, and there's a little bit of a fairy tale vibe to both of those. Whereas like Wolfenstein, even though it's in an alternate universe, it's very cinematic and grounded and real. But then some games like in Smite, when I'm Artemis, she's like just over the top and ridiculous and like yells stuff. So I think it just differs from tone to tone. Some stuff's really real. Some stuff is like talking to you right now, and some stuff's like really over the top. I like the variation. I think it's nice not to do one of just one.
Mm-hmm.
So Miss Valerie, and I was
Yeah.
gonna ask, to someone that's looking, because I have a friend of mine that's actually looking to getting into voice acting. What
Mhm.
advice would you give to them, like for someone that's like entirely new to this but just wants to like get into it as like a profession? What kind of
Yeah.
advice, a tip would you give to him? Because I'm pretty sure he would love to hear this.
Well, it's actually great you asked because someone just asked me that today, and I can just send them this podcast and be like, "Listen here." Um, I think the most important thing is learning how to act first because that because it's really not I don't think I mean I think that there's a really huge market for like impressions and character voices and things and that's so important learning how to do different things with your voice but unless you know how to act first and foremost in any medium it's not going to translate through um so I think if you have a voice that you if you want to do it, get into an acting class first. And then what I always tell people is know what's special about you. Like, I know what I specialize in. I don't specialize in a ton of impressions and like different kinds of voices because that's not usually what I get hired to do. I usually get hired to do something really similar to my own speaking voice. So I was like, but I also have a lot of friends that like their niche is I worked with someone who only does animal impressions and he's worked
Oh,
for ever. Um and I know lots of people that do like elderly characters and kids and so know what you're good at and start there. And that doesn't mean you can't keep expanding, but know what you're good at to start because that's how you're going to start getting actual work. Um and yeah, acting class, acting class, acting class, and a voice class because I know a lot of people that like yelling and stuff like that, especially in video games, is really vocally strenuous. And unless you are doing it healthy, you can damage your voice, and then you don't have a career because your voice is done within 5 years of working. I have had 10 years of vocal classes, like singing classes and things like that. So I really try to be healthy with my voice because I want to still be doing this when I'm 90.
mhm.
Um, and and I think the preservation of your voice is really important because no job is worth destroying your money maker. So
Yeah.
all of that.
Can I add one final thing as well before, because I know we're about
Yeah.
to wrap. Um, so do you think, when it comes to like voice acting and like singing, do you think it's something that is like something that comes to someone naturally? Like if you're not good at it, you're not good at it, or do you think it's like something you can train your voice to kind of match what you're trying to go for?
I think I think you inherently have a type of voice that you are born with, but in terms of like getting better, oh my gosh, my sister is gonna kill me for saying this. My sister is an opera singer, and she's got a
Yeah.
gorgeous voice. She came out of the womb singing. She's like I said, she's 9 years older. When I first started trying to sing when I was like 7, 8, 9, I was awful. I had no sense of pitch or anything. So, and like also I also remember like my first like big and my first big voiceover job. I thought I'm pretty sure I was terrible and I'm pretty sure I almost got fired. And somehow I didn't. But like through learning and getting better and like watching other people's work, I have gotten to where I am today. So it's just, I really think that it's persistent work. If you say that you want to do this, you have to put in the actual work because it is work. It's a job. Um,
Mhm.
I still take classes. I still learn from different people. I watch stuff so I know what people who are booking stuff what they're doing. Um, so if you treat it like a job, it will become your job. I firmly believe.